You're best known for being on the Tim and Eric Awesome Show. Great job. That's where I know you from.
And then I also did Check It Out with Dr. Steve Brule.
Of course.
That show, which was the spinoff from the Tim and Eric Awesome Show. Great job.
Yeah.
And before that, I did walk on parts of Good Times and a show called Wings and other TV shows.
I was going to say, I've been reading up on you, and you might be the most interesting man alive. You did
thank you
stand-up.
very much. I try to be.
You did stand-up comedy with Robin Williams in the 70s when he started. You were taught puppeteering by Jim Henson. You were abducted by aliens. You're related to the Wright brothers. There's so much going on with you.
Yeah.
You've lived such a crazy life.
Wow.
Well, the Wright brothers were part Scotch, Irish, and German and English, and they were Presbyterian ministers, and they intermarried in my family, and the family became part Caucasian because of that. Also, my family became part Caucasian because my African American side were Buffalo Soldiers, and they worked with the Quakers in freeing blacks to the Underground Railroad up to Canada from the South.
Wow.
My family was in that, and a German guy named Henry Liebe Hartman. The Germans shortened their names to blend in with the English.
Oh, yeah?
So the M-A-N-N was shortened. I'm part German,
wow.
Scotch, Irish, English, and Scandinavian.
You got a crazy background. So take me through how you were abducted. It's 1968, you're 13 years old, and you were living in Chicago, right?
I was living in Park Forest, Illinois, and my parents bought a home at 117 Westwood Drive from a retired colonel from the Army, and he had a communication with an alien race. And what happened was I stayed in the back cottage that was a branch from the home, and these aliens came in, and they thought they were going to see this colonel that sold the home to my parents, and they saw me, and they abducted me instead and took samples of my hair and my skin, and they told me telepathically that they were just taking samples of me, and they would bring me back to Earth after they worked on me. And
so they took you up on a ship?
I was on a spaceship. They took samples of my blood, and there's been since I was raised in Christian Science, they don't believe in doctors. There was a microchip put in one of my legs, so one of my legs has a big bump on it that's bigger than the other.
Wow.
Then I was told from my grandmother, Wright Gordon, she married a third person she married was a Gordon, and she was a Schroeder, and she told me, my grandmother, Gordon Schroeder, told me that I was related to the Wright brothers, and the Wright brothers had gotten their back engineering technology from working with a race called the Corinthians, and for the back engineering technology that they gave to Orville and Wilbur Wright. And she told me that she was the white side of the family, didn't want to have anything to do with the alien contact, so they got in touch with the African American side, and they contacted my grandmother for a long time while she was living.
Wow, so it goes all the way into your family with this alien abduction. Has anyone else in your family been abducted, or they just have this knowledge of...
Well, my Uncle Danny told me that when he was in the Navy, he lives in Homewood, Illinois, and he told this to my dad when my dad was living. My dad, Helibus Liebe Hart, that a UFO ship landed and abducted a whole bunch of military people that were doing sports at a big arena, and and since I've studied the UFO phenomenon and I'm a member of MUFON, the same story was told by other people that had relatives that were in the military, that the whole a big stadium where they were playing football was that the aliens had abducted a lot of men all at once.
And then you were visited at a bench in Chicago by a woman who taught you the term Salame from the Tim and Eric Show?
No, I met her, I met her at La Brea Tar Pits, where I sell my portrait sketches on the weekends. Her name was Jessel Ordias. She was a Corinthian and elder master. And she told me that she told me, she was like a psychic. She told me that there was going to be a black president. She told me that that there was going to be because global warming was going to happen, and she told me this way back in the 80s, and she told me that the planet was going to go through some, the cataclysm was going to come, and this planet was going to go through a lot of dramatic changes.
So she's an alien, but she lives on Earth? Does she blend in with the humans?
Where she lives, because they need their privacy. She, like so many aliens, have a big underground base. The Omegans that are at war with the Corinthians have an underground base in Indianapolis, Indiana, and some of them in Northern California. And the Corinthians, you go online, the Corinthians, the Palladians, the Venusians, all the information about the aliens is all on the Internet. They gave us the Internet. They gave us the back engineering computer, the TV, the microphone, all the new technology that we use today. And this has been not just going on. It's been going on way back in Egyptian time. The Corinthians worked with the Egyptians and the Palladians to build the pyramids. Were not built by slaves. They were built by spaceships using anti-gravity, putting stones on top of stones. And then the Corinthians, the Palladians, and the Venusians worked with the Egyptians, whereas the Omegans that come from Star Caladan worked with the Mayas. And they've also worked with the Filipinos. The Filipinos had a Omegan visit them called Beth Karate. Karaki.
You ever think of writing a book about this? You got so much knowledge on this topic. Have you ever?
They dress up in a straw spaceship to mimic the Omegans that came from Star Caladan to teach the Filipino people. And the amazing thing is races that are from Earth are descended of extraterrestrials. The Irish and the Scottish are descended of the Omegans that come from Star Caladan. They even speak Celtic, and they even have the same Irish last name.
Do they wear kilts?
And like Monahan.
No kilts on the aliens, though. Did they invent the kilt, or is that human creation?
Yes, they did. They brought beer here. They brought wheat here. The Omegans are carnivorous, whereas the Corinthians and the Palladians are vegetarians.
Wow.
And the Omegans' blood is originally green, and that's why Irish use green with so much with the St. Patrick's Day, because before the Omegans blended in with us, their blood was green.
Wow. Now, David, we got to take a break very quick, but after the break, I want to get into talking about how you started in comedy in L.A. and everything. I want to get into your career and how you met Tim and Eric and everything. You want to stick around with us for a bit?
Sure, you got it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, man.